Good evening, friends, and welcome to A Separate Concession, the program of hospitality, culture, and spirits. I'm joined tonight by my friend Erickson, and also working with me is Dice, here on another busy shift with me. And we are continuing our discussion of the group of Italian herbal liqueurs known as Amaros. If you're joining us via YouTube tonight, thank you so much for doing so. We certainly appreciate you watching. Please don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube. You can also follow us at A Separate Concession on Instagram and Twitter.
Is that how you say Twitter?
Twitter.
Twitter D and Twitter dumb?
There certainly is plenty of Twitter dumb on Twitter these days, but I think what you're referring to is the change in some of my enunciation. I used to, having grown up on the West Coast, pronounce soft T sounds more like D's, as in water or later or even Twitter. But having lived here in this great city for almost 15 years, some of those have sharpened up nicely to water, later, and Twitter. I'm finally becoming a true New Yorker.
I just assumed it was that Ari has a thing for Sebco and you were just doing your best impersonation.
A Sebco? What's a Sebco? I have no idea what that is.
Sebco.
Dr. Seb?
Yeah, Sebastian Gorka.
I do not sound like Sebastian Gorka. For one thing, I don't have an Eastern European accent.
Well, he doesn't have an Eastern European accent. He's mostly British sounding, but he stops and pauses and makes these awkward moments where he enunciates slightly more than needed.
I think there's a strong energy component too. Like, I wouldn't say you look exactly like him. You look maybe a little bit more like, I don't know, the actor who plays Seb Gorka in a porn about Seb Gorka.
Well, considering a male porn star's most important attribute, I'll take that as a compliment.
Your representation is just wishful thinking.
Where did he come from?
I mean...
So, speaking of Dr. Seb Gorka,
yeah.
Dave, where do you stand on the Bruschetta versus kicking?
I'm sorry, Erickson. I didn't catch that. What was that?
So I was just wondering, this is a frequent hot topic on Dr. Gorka's shows. Where do you stand on the great Bruschetta versus Bruschetta debate?
That's Erickson. That is actually a terrific question. You know, in their constant efforts to distract me and derail the program, Erickson and Dice will in fact occasionally bring up a topic of significant import to the subjects of bartending, serving, or hospitality. That's precisely what Erickson has done here. This question of the Bruschetta versus Bruschetta debate is, in its own way, one of the most important subjects that bartenders, servers, managers, really anybody working in hospitality must be able to address effectively. So, Erickson, I want to thank you for bringing up this topic of discussion.
It sounds like it might not be a discussion and more of a soliloquy, but go ahead.
Thanks, Erickson. I will go ahead. So this question that Erickson brings up, the Bruschetta versus Bruschetta debate. Should Erickson, or even Dr. Seb Gorka, order Bruschetta or Bruschetta in a restaurant? This is one of the most important questions that we can answer. And the answer to this question is that it does not matter. From a hospitality perspective, it does not matter whether the guest orders the Bruschetta or the Bruschetta. So, if the answer to that question doesn't matter, why is the question itself so important? And to answer that question, we must first ask another, which I'll try right now. Dice, what is bruschetta or bruschetta?
I'm confused. So, which one tastes better?
Dice is, of course, more interested in trying to derail the program than help me provide a...
Dave, what are you talking about? I don't know what bruschetta or bruschetta are, so why would... Explain it to me then, please.
It's alright, Dice. There's no need for you to get upset or animated.
It's, Dave, it's impossible for me not to be animated right now. I think that's clear.
Well done, Dice. Bravo. You know, hospitality is not just a service that we provide to guests at a hotel, restaurant, or bar. Indeed, I think the most potent practice of hospitality might be that which we extend to our coworkers, and not just in the bar or restaurant environment. Indeed, hospitality can be a powerful tool in almost any workspace. We might otherwise think of this concept as leadership through service. Dice here is playing the role of an unseasoned server, one who might either be crushed under the weight of our frustration at his ineptitude, or else blossom as we provide him with the hospitality, leadership, and knowledge which will allow him to grow. Now, obviously, Dice is only playing the role. Just look how confidently he carries that tray with a dozen drinks on it.
He is the ultimate alpha male.
He kind of is the ultimate alpha male. Nonetheless, Dice seems not to know what ingredients are in our menu items, so I'm about to tell him what's in our bruschetta, or bruschetta. A lightly grilled Italian bread with premium Roma tomatoes, extra virgin olive oil, balsamic vinegar, chopped basil, salt, and pepper.
I think of it like pizza toast.
Sure, pizza toast is a great way to think of bruschetta or bruschetta.
Do we overcharge them for either pronunciation, or is one like a secret menu item that's cheaper than the other?
Well, Dice, we are in a unique position here, and we provide our guests with a unique experience. Here on the 99th floor, overlooking the incomparable skyline of the greatest city on earth. Our bruschetta, or bruschetta, is fairly priced because it is not just pizza toast. It is part of an experience. And Dice, the incredible location, the beauty of the space, the terrific quality of the food and drink, all of those are static, essentially unchanging. They might even be taken for granted. Which is why, Dice, the guest's experience, the quality of that experience, and the value of that experience all hinge on our practice of hospitality.
That was smooth. Dave.
Thank you, Dice. So, when faced with the bruschetta versus bruschetta conundrum, how might we practice this powerful art of hospitality? In the case where a guest mispronounces a menu item, I have an answer to that, or at least a strategy. We'll have these encounters frequently in service. A guest will order the escargots, a steak frites medium rare, and a glass of Bordeaux. That's one of your favorites, Dice, the Bordeaux.
Yeah, they're tasty.
Indeed, tasty Bordeaux. Providing hospitality, in the case of such mispronunciation, requires no correction. If we understand what the guest wants despite their pronunciation, we can let the mistake go by with no follow-up. But we can do even better than that. We can offer the guest the correct pronunciation, and we have one opportunity to do it without even seeming to correct the guest. We simply repeat the guest's order back to them and frame it as an affirmation of their decision. Wonderful. I will send the escargot right out for you. followed by the steak frite, medium rare. Would you like the glass of Bordeaux right away, or perhaps champagne to go along with your snails? A very simple solution in which the guest maintains their dignity and might even carry forward with confidence the correct pronunciations. If, however, the guest orders a second glass of Bordeaux, we cannot offer another correction without drawing attention to the fact that they ignored the first. We can, however, maintain the guest's confidence and dignity by simply letting it go.
Was I supposed to be taking that down?
Well, Dice, the episode will be up on YouTube soon, so you can watch it as many times as you like. And if you're enjoying the show on YouTube, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. You may also find us on Instagram and Twitter at A Separate Concession to get updates on all of our new content.
After all that, what's the answer?
What's the answer to what, Dice?
Is it pronounced bruschetta or bruschetta?
Ah, great question. Thanks for providing me the chance to clarify. So in Italian, the combination of letters CHE creates the phoneme K. So as service staff, we will want to pronounce it bruschetta.
So it's kind of like that movie, Kramer versus Kramer. Dustin Hoffman and his wife, they get in a big argument because they're deciding whether or not their son is going to be named Kramer or Kramer.
Okay.
That was weird.
Yes, Erickson. This episode has gone off the rails. We've taken some digressions, some tangents, certainly. And a few of them have been kind of weird.
It's only weird to do it like yourself.
Oh, great.
Outstanding analysis from Dr. Gorka, as we have come to expect over the past few years. You're watching A Separate Concession, the program of hospitality, culture, and spirits. When we come back, I will try desperately to bring this program back onto the rails. We will continue our exploration of the world of Amaro, and we will consider also the history of alcohol and Amaro as medicine. Thanks so much for watching A Separate Concession. We'll be right back.
These people are utterly deranged.